You guys having fun with football season? Mine is increased exponentially because I'm using my Bookie. Here's how you do it. You make a contribution to them. You fill up your account. They match it up to $1,000. I know that sounds insane, and honestly, I don't know how that works, but it does. I signed up, started out with $150. I now have $275 in the account. I'm winning. Winning season means doubling your first deposit as well as Survivor, Super Contests, and Squares. Sign up now, get your first deposit matched, grab an entry into the famed MyBookie Super Contest. What is the Super Contest and how do you play? It's simple. All you have to do is pick 5 NFL teams against the spread each week to have a chance at a $100,000 guaranteed cash prize. The best part is, or in cash prizes, it's not one cash prize. The best part is MyBookie has thousands of bets to choose from over the full NFL slate and NBA playoffs, which are winnowing down. Get in the action before it's over. From live betting to championship futures, every play you want to make is waiting at MyBookie. Make your picks, win big, collect your cash. Use promo code PAPERS and double your first deposit now. It's a no-brainer. Your winning season begins today only at MyBookie. Use promo code PAPERS at mybookie.com. And now, let's start the podcast.
It's Sunday papers. Greg and Mike, it's Sunday papers. Greg and Mike, it's Sunday papers. Greg and Mike, do-do-do-do-do-do. Greg and Mike, it's Sunday papers.
Hear ye, hear ye! It's ye old Sunday papers!
Oh,
Can you imagine when they first started papers? Like how many people would read one edition of that paper?
You mean they would pass it around?
They pass it around.
All right.
You'd
All
be
right.
like, Arnie, you did the fucking crossword again? How about,
You couldn't get 6 down? What a loser.
syphilis, 6 down.
That's how the plague spread. Everybody was touching the same paper and coughing into it.
That's right.
Wow, here we are. Another
Here we are,
week.
Mike. Another week. We had a good day yesterday. We went to the beach. It's September, which is really the best month for going to the beach in LA every year.
October's pretty great too.
So we went out, and our friend Matt Malloy's back in town. He's Captain Fun. So he put a little text chain together. And here's what Matt does. He sends out one text, and 11 guys show up to the beach the next day.
Yeah.
And
this was a work day.
yeah, right. It was a Friday.
And we were there all there in the middle of the day.
We got there at 11 o'clock in the morning and stayed until, I think, 4:35.
If you don't hate Los Angeles enough, hopefully that cinches it for you.
And Matt has to bring everything to the beach, so we had to make 2 loads down from the car. He had a cooler with a gallon of vodka, every fucking mixer, a 12-pack of beer, and then a bunch of chairs, a tent, umbrellas, footballs, fucking paddle balls.
10 sandwiches, giant grinders, whatever you want to call them, heroes from Bay City's Italian deli.
And 3 giant Willy Wonka-sized medicinal pot chocolate bars, which everybody gobbled down, which is why we stayed at the beach for 6 fucking hours when it was 80 degrees out.
It was perfect.
It was, those edibles were so strong. I took them at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I swear to God, I was watching TV last night late, and I was still high. Is that possible? Man. Is that possible?
You probably didn't feel it yourself. I don't know. Maybe. Are they time release chocolates? I haven't heard of those.
I don't know, but
all edibles seem like they're time release.
Yeah. So we're going back today. After this, we're going to hit the beach.
We're going to try. Let's do it. All right. That was a good podcast. Let's go.
Shout out to John Barron, who did our kind of jazzy.
That was really playful. That was cool.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was a nice juxtaposition to Rob Dukes from the band Generation Kill, who did last week's punk song that people have kind of unanimously said is the best song we've ever had.
A lot of people. There were a couple of detractors. It was too harsh for them, but they were few and far between. Everyone loved it.
Sunday fucking Papers. And by the way, they've got some music out on Spotify. If you want to check out Generation Kill, they rock. The logo is from Gordon McBride. It's a reference to last week's Action Park story. And it's me and Mike flying out of that tube they built. Very nice artwork. Thank you.
It's a really, we talked about it at the beach yesterday. We told some people who are from Chicago, so they had no idea about this place. And it's a way funnier documentary than I remembered while watching it, because there's so many, as we've talked about on here, so many stories from it.
Yeah, it was a time. It was the 80s. It really was. Things were unregulated. Reagan came into office and he goes, no more rules, everybody. Let's fucking go for it. We also want to mention another podcast that I'm a big fan of, and it's all about working out at home and how it sucks. The Not Boring Workouts is, the workout apps make it worse, and aggravatingly peppy those annoying fucking trainers, and they're trying to be motivational. The worst.
Come on, you can do it. Just one more set. Like, no, I can't do it. You don't know me.
So these guys would listen to those, and they decided to create the world's least sucky podcast, Workout. It's called Not Boring Workouts. Twice a week.
Oh, that's
hilarious. Cool. They're underqualified trainers. Ali brings you an accessible full-body workout combined with fascinating story, blazing hot takes, and low expectations. Previous episodes have included the Flat Earth, Flat Abs workout, the Get Worked Up by the History of Dildos workout.
All right.
The anti-vax movement is insane, and so are burpees workout. And this week's The Story of Jane Fonda workout will make you sweat workout. Not Boring Workouts available on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, all the podcast hotspots. You almost definitely get some exercise. It is an exercise thing. And Not Boring Workouts is once again the least sucky way to get it. It won't change your life, but at least you'll feel better later when you're binge eating Pop-Tarts and binge watching Selling Sunset. Oh, that's that realtor show. Anyway,
I might tune into that just because I so admire the link that they found between the anti-vax movement is insane and so are burpees.
Right. Dude, my nephew's been training me boxing training. Burpees fucking suck. And he makes me do the extended ones where when you go down, you do a push-up, and when you go to the top, you jump.
Yeah. I thought all burpees jumped. No, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, women do them on their fucking knees, and they don't jump, and they don't do the push-up, and yet they want to be equal. Come on.
All righty.
You ever watch on TikTok, they'll show like chicks doing guitar solos?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like, wow, she played Stairway to Heaven. It's like any guy. Whatever. Let's move on.
Well, I did tell you that time I was trying to get my girls into the Olympics. So it was the Olympics, like I'm going to put it at probably 10 years ago. Whatever. I can't do the math. So anyway, Winter Olympics. And it was the girls snowboarding. And they were in the half pipe. So we're watching it. And like they would have their headset in and they're bopping, right? And they're getting ready. And it seemed pretty cool. And a lot of them would fall. And the girls were like, oh, but they were like trying to. And this is their first time seeing snowboarding in a half pipe. And I'm like, no, she's cool. She likes punk music and all. It's like, yeah, it's like, well, she fell, but like she kind of went high there, like before she fell. I'm like, yeah. Like we're just trying it. So during girls snowboarding in the half pipe, they did a promo for the men's snow. By the way, it's women's. I keep saying girls. Yeah. I'm with my girls. They did a promo for the men's snowboarding half pipe. Obviously, it's the same half pipe. my girls were like, Daddy, he almost hit the lights. Did you see how high he went? And I'm like, no, I know, but that's later. But we're here. The women's like, no, I don't want to watch the women. They keep falling. And did you see how high he went? It was like the most massive backfire ever.
Oh, but yeah, the women guitar leads are like, it's like they're good, but I should say for the record that I'm friends with a woman, Tal Wilkenfeld, who's a bass player who she plays with Jeff Beck. She's played with The Who. She's fucking sick bass player. And she's like, I don't know, she's young. She's under 30. And she's super hot, wild, like blonde, curly hair, and just the coolest chick. But anyway,
no,
so
yeah,
they
music
can play
is a little
bass.
different. Music is a little different. But
Yeah.
it's like women's weightlifting. I mean, all right, I guess it's funny. I'm not really trying to be funny, but technically you can say, tune in to see the 9,063rd strongest person in the world break a record. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what it's saying.
And then we have some clips of a couple of people dying in a fire because of a female firefighter. Anyway, put that on TikTok.
Oh boy.
right.
Boy.
Let's get to some corrections, of which
we
we'll
love
have
'em.
some next week based on this conversation. This comes from D. Bishop. He says, Valerie Bure, pronounced Bure, apparently, who's the guy I made fun of last week. He's married to the woman from Fuller House who is a Christian, but Valerie Bure had his hand on her breast in a photo and all the Christians were up in arms.
Right.
Anyway, I said he looked gay. And I got a lot of shit back from people saying not only was he a Russian defector, he played NHL hockey for 10 years. And
Wait,
he
I'm
will kick
confused.
your
Did you
fucking
call him
ass.
gay or do you say he looked feminine?
I might have
Either
gone
way.
with gay.
Either way, what? Russian, like macho guys can't be gay?
Now that's true. Yeah.
Also, what were they saying? That, oh my God, he's, I guess, the opposite of stereotypically gay. He's, like this, was he a great hockey player?
Well, he played for 10 years. That's pretty good. He's out of Russia, and he was a defector. That's kind of like a badass thing to do. But I'm sure if you're gay, if I'm gay, I'm more likely to defect from some fascist country that's not allowing me to be gay. Don't they kill gay people in Russia?
So he wasn't man enough to stay in Russia. And then he wore shorts and gloves and skated for 10 years?
Shorts. You're an idiot.
That's what they are. In fact, they're padded shorts. He wore shorts with pads in them, skated while wearing gloves for 10 years. I can see the confusion.
He
Take that,
basically
hockey fans.
he wasn't good enough to be a figure skater.
Oh, God, no, none of them are. Are you kidding me?
This one comes from Baguette. It's pronounced Schnorrer, not Schnurr. Wasn't it maybe from a friend of yours last week, Tom Schnurr?
Absolutely. Oh, my God, that's right. I read late at night. He messaged me then. I got to get back in touch with him. Schnurr, but I don't. Oh, but maybe you were saying something off of his name because this isn't him writing, is it? I don't see the letter.
No. This is just somebody saying, I said that his last name means like a mooch or somebody trying to get stuff for free.
Oh, and they're saying that's different than Schnurr.
Yeah, Schnurr. That's not Schnurr. That's Schnorrer. I think it's Yiddish.
Oh, all right. Then I don't care.
All right. Dear
But
Sunday.
Schnurr's great, and he's a listener. How about that?
I know. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
We have a lot of college buddies that listen to this show, and I think they may not enjoy the show, but they just like the fact that they get to hang out with us a little bit. So shout outs to Dudley and Pete and Dan. Who else?
I remember
Jack listens.
I was at boarding school. He lived nearby. He was at boarding school too, but his parents had a house. They were in New York City, had a house in town. We left in the middle of the night, got on bikes, pitch black, and one of the bikes had that light that you could press against the wheel that generated, like it would turn it.
Right,
Remember those?
Yeah.
So we drove to his house, got stoned. He was like 10 times smart, is 10 times smarter than me. And he was also into sci-fi. I wasn't into that either. He played Star Trek. I'm a junior in high school, I think, probably. I had never seen a Star Trek. My mind was completely blown, like whatever one he showed me. And then we had to get back on it. Now, I am so baked at this point. We had to get back to school in order to pretend to wake up at like, whatever it was, 6 a.m. So anyway, we're going back. It's still pitch black. The light thing doesn't work. So we had to like walk the bikes, I think, because we would have just gone right into the woods. Like it was so dark, like we couldn't do the bikes. And we're like, are we going to get back in time? I don't know. I remember just freaking out, but that was one story with Schnurr. It was great.
This one is from Daniel in New York. So excited to be part of a correction. The podcast about Action Park, a place I went to in my youth, and every time I visited was guaranteed to see someone bleeding from their head. Everything was true except your hilarious recreation for their advertisement was in fact we got this from a bunch of people. It was the advertisement for Raceway Park.
You did it
Action
quite well,
Park.
by the way.
I know. Oh, Raceway Park.
All right, for everybody listening and just listening, don't go to YouTube to see how he does that.
It's on, and if you want to see the original, it's on YouTube. Just look up Raceway Park.
All right, maybe a fan can split screen you and that and Raceway Park ad and see if you nailed it.
I'm trying to be more animated. I'm a little flat in general in my life. I'm trying to get more animated.
That'll help. It's really not annoying. It's great. Definitely do it. Yeah.
It'll spice up my marriage. Destro's fan said, Grapefruit, now that you're over your depression enough to hear something negative, I have a correction for you. Apartheid is pronounced apartheid, not apartheid. I said apartheid the other week.
Yeah, these are kind of...
But I've heard it both ways. And by the way, Destro, it's apartheid if you really want to say it right. That's the way the South Africans say it. Apartheid.
Do they really say it that way?
Yes.
Oh.
This is a correction from YouTube. You want to handle this one, Mike?
Yeah, I saw this one on YouTube. Like apartheid, the pronunciation. Why don't we have we get so much wrong in this podcast. I think the minutia of pronunciation and stuff like that, and if it's a really small detail, maybe let it slide. You've probably caught, we're going to probably get crazy facts wrong about Japan today and stuff like that. But this one was from YouTube, and the guy watched the podcast last week, and he goes, correction, you can't open your flu. The flu, so I had said... We were talking about something, and I'm like, you got to open the flue, in your fireplace, right? You can't open the flue. The flue is the long, hollow part where the smoke rises up from the firebox out of your house. The damper, all caps, is what stops the smoke from going into the flue. You can open and close the damper, all caps, not the flue, all caps. This is from Anthony Alvarado. Thanks, Anthony. You're a fun guy.
Hey, let's hang out with Anthony today. Johnny Literal.
I was thinking it would be cool living with Anthony. Hey, Anthony, did you open my mail? Well, yes and no. You can't open mail, Mike. You can open the envelope, but the envelope is what gets open. The mail's inside.
Right. That's right.
Right. Cool. All right. Anyway, Anthony, why don't we? Can you open that jar of marinara? No, Mike. That's physically impossible. Do you mean the lid? Holy shit. All right, Anthony, I need a drink. Why don't we crack open that bottle of tequila? Once again, Mike, sorry, but do you mean unscrew the cap? Holy shit. Let's forget eating, all right? Let's fucking just go out. You think that restaurant's open? Do you mean the door to the restaurant, Mike? Anthony, you fuck. You're giving me a heart attack. I'm going to need open heart surgery. Technically, the arteries are open, Mike. It's not the heart. All right, I'm fucking done with you. I'm going to open a can of whoop ass. Can you open a can of whoop ass, Anthony? Is there a lid? You're fucking dead. I'm going to strangle the life out of you. Open your eyes. I want you to see me strangling you. Do you mean my eyelids? You can't open eyes, Mike. Then there's banging at the door. Police, open up. Open what? The door? Don't worry, I'm killing him.
This is what happens when Mike Gibbons takes Ritalin before Sunday papers and sharpens up his pencil.
And the police come in, and guess what, Anthony? They're going to fucking open fire on you. You can't open fire. And then Anthony's going to be dead, and it's going to be a cold case, and it's never going to be open because you can't open a fucking cold case, Anthony.
Let's try to resuscitate him. You can't resuscitate him. You can resuscitate his heart.
Right. Oh my God. Holy shit.
Now, should we have a closed casket?
How does Anthony watch this on the
podcast? You can't close the casket. You close the lid to the casket.
I hope he hears this when he opens the podcast app. And you launch the podcast app. You can't open it.
Anthony's going to hell. You don't go to hell. You descend to hell.
Oh, my God.
All right, Anthony. Keep the letters coming, though, Anthony. We love hearing from you.
Yeah. Your fly's open, Anthony. Not the fucking zipper. All of a sudden, I'm dice.
All right. It's time to get to the front page.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
Already?
Oh, my God. My paper has so little. There's a little crackle. Oh.
What's the news? It's all good news out there.
All good news. Great news week. Brain chips. Top story. Workers worry that in the not too distant future, they will be sidelined by humans implanted with performance enhancing microchips. 2/3 of employees believe that in 2035, I don't know why they picked that year, humans with chips implanted in their bodies will have an unfair advantage in the labor market. Thousands of people in Sweden have inserted microchips in their hands that could one day replace keys and cards. Elon Musk recently showed off a working brain implant in pigs.
Yeah.
Made by his brain-computer interface company.
We had talked about this story when Elon Musk was touting it, I guess.
But no, first of all, I feel sorry for crazy people because they already think there's chips implanted in their brain. What are they going to imagine once we all really do have chips implanted in our brain? I put it to you, Mike, for the punchline.
Oh, I didn't really hear the setup. I'm distracted by the technology. I'm sure there are people already screaming about how easy is it to control people's minds when.
Right.
And what if you're walking around like, look at that fucking idiot. He hasn't gotten the new download yet. Like there's still a lot of, whatever they call it, kinks. What do they call it when you need an app to get the bugs? There's still a lot of bugs in his old system.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's first of all, it's going to be tough to get a job. I mean, if you don't have the chip, don't even go to the fucking job interview. It's like, top of your resume is going to be, I am a fucking computer. Like, what assets do you have? Let's see. Well, you can program me not to take breaks. I won't sexually harass your secretary.
Yeah.
I'll actually work hard.
Oh,
let
am
me
I good
send
at
in the
Word?
next guy.
I am Word. Am I good at Excel docs? I am an Excel doc.
Right.
Well, the Elon Musk thing, first of all, I wonder why they chose a pig. And I'm thinking it's because it's the smartest animal. So I'm not impressed. They put it in a pig.
Yeah.
Put it in a fucking cat. I've never seen a smart cat in my life. Cats don't even know their own fucking name. They only know the sound of a can opener. Right. So put it in a cat, then we'll talk.
Yeah. Put it in a cat and program it to actually show some fucking affection. And not treat me like I'm inferior to him. I love the cat. You feed him, you house him, you clean him, you take him to the doctor, and he looks down on you as inferior.
Yeah. And they don't really need They're like, I'd be just as good outside, but
Yeah.
you don't let me.
Right.
Yeah. But Elon Musk, yeah, his pig thing, the pig that he put the chip in, did you see it? It's pretty cool. It has a giant screen. You can see them in Whole Foods. They're charging in the parking lot. They got the chargers hooked up to them. Just all these pigs right in front of Whole Foods.
If the pig has a fucking chip in him, good luck trying to kill him. He's
Right.
He's gonna fucking hack your system. Every time you go to kill him, your fire alarm is gonna go off in your house.
Yeah, where you're eating bacon, you're like, I didn't take the fucking chip out. I chipped my tooth on bacon.
Right. He's gonna cause himself to be. He's gonna poison himself somehow. So you can't eat him. Herd mentality.
Good luck killing pigs if they have a goddamn smart chip if they get too smart.
That's what I just said.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
The ADHD Comedy Hour, starring Mike
There it
and
is.
Greg. Despite what science or the failed coronavirus strategy in Sweden tells us, people continue to entertain herd immunity as a possible strategy for ending COVID-19. Trump said the coronavirus would go away even without a vaccine. Quote, you'll develop a herd mentality. It's going to be herd developed, and that's going to happen. That will happen. Trump meant herd immunity rather than herd mentality. So the idea, I don't know if you know the idea of herd mentality, but essentially he's saying we just let Corona run amok, and then eventually enough people will be immune, which they say is 70 to 90%. So it will no longer be a threat to the population.
So you mean herd immunity? Because you actually just said herd mentality.
Wow.
You said the concept of herd. It is herb. Out in LA, it's herb mentality.
Herd mentality.
But yeah, no, herd immunity, I know the concept, but there's a lot of issues with it.
Well, yeah, it's basically millions of people would die before there's immunity. And it's basically like going, okay, we got a mass shooter, but he's going to get tired. He's going to run out of bullets eventually.
It's such a complicated issue, by the way. Yes, okay. The simplest case is if it was a controlled experiment and it didn't affect anything else, millions would die, and that's assuming people can't get it twice. So now, whatever that threshold is it 60%? Whatever the threshold that they've defined as herd immunity. But all the hospitalizations, all the people that will be dying also, and they're trying to save their lives, that has a very big effect on the healthcare system. And there will be collateral damage, lots of collateral damage. And so there'll be more unrelated COVID deaths that would not have happened. That's just a fact. So there's that. But the biggest issue is you can get it again.
Oh, you mean they'll be unrelated because they'll be waiting to get a heart transplant, but they can't get in the hospital because of all the COVID patients. You're right.
And especially severely immune compromised, which are people in life and death situations that need to get to the hospital. Especially, yeah, you brought up heart, but of course cancer and all that stuff. But heart especially, because I guess they are very, very, very susceptible to to fatal consequences with corona. Anyway.
Maybe if we can get the pigs to operate on people outside the hospital.
I don't know. What if the pigs operate on people outside of the hospital? The last thing you said was he was going to poison himself. Sometimes, I catch on the last thing, so I didn't think you said that earlier.
Well, and they're saying that this will work because it worked in Sweden.
I heard it didn't.
But that's just the point. There's no longer facts. So Trump keeps saying that, and Fox keeps saying that, but the truth is, scientifically, it's just not true. That there hasn't been a critical mass of people in Switzerland for it to. They're not there yet. They're not at herd immunity. But they throw something like that out there, and it throws you off the track of like, this is insane. This is an insane solution.
So if you're a right-leaning listener right now, don't hang up or whatever it's called. Don't run away right now. I think it's fair to explore. Here's an honest question. If he's just saying untruths, and let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he doesn't think he's lying. Okay, we can work with that. And this isn't like a big setup to slam him. I'm just saying, if he honestly believes that herd immunity worked in Sweden and it did not, is it any different than if he just makes up a name of a country and says, well, it worked in Verstageland?
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
I mean, what's the difference really?
Right.
I mean, that's how.
And then it gets repeated and repeated and repeated until it's fact.
The debates are going to be really interesting because when you debate a guy, I believe Trump is also very much, a liar, which has been proven over and over and over again. But also he has an inability, even without malice, to be specific and to accurately convey facts.
No, he just says a lot of people are saying. That's his. When people say, like they asked him the other day, when he said masks are not effective, a lot of people are saying that. And they said, who's saying that? And Trump said, waiters. Not making that up.
So it's very hard to debate someone like this.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of that responsibility comes down on the moderator. Like, that's not true.
Right.
Or you didn't answer the question.
Right.
They rarely do that, though.
Well, did you hear that Trump wants Rogan to run a debate between him and Biden?
In a cage?
If they get into a fist fight, which is entirely possible, who do you like to win?
I would bet, and I'm not great with bets, I would bet everything on Biden.
Really?
Something is going on with Trump.
Yeah.
And he's a lot heavier than he looks also. He's really unhealthy.
Those suits, he's got beautifully cut suits. They hide a lot of weight.
Yeah, because you'll see him in a golf cart or something. You're like, whoa. Like, I'm surprised every time.
Right. All right, let's get to another story.
And Biden's angry.
Don't
fight. Don't fight a stammerer. Someone with a stutter problem when they're little. Do not take that guy on.
That's right. Don't fight a short guy. Don't fight an albino.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even fight a little person, to be honest, because it's a lose-lose. If you lose, you got beat up by a little person. If you win, you beat up a little person.
I remember in a football practice once, one of the toughest kids is a smaller guy. Anyway, coach just goes, let that be a lesson. When a smaller guy says he can beat you up, he can. It was really interesting.
No, I always use that to my advantage. I always talk tough, and I was loud and aggressive, and a lot of people wouldn't fight me because of it.
Yeah. You also had that theory that you would take off your pants.
Right. They would rip their shirt off. I'd take off my pants. Who wants to fight a guy with no pants and an erection?
There we go.
All right, we're in the international section, Mike.
We are.
And I think we should end each section with me doing a bit from my stand-up from the 80s.
All right, I'll tee you up.
Japan said nearly 1 in 1,500 people in Japan is now aged 100 or older. That's insane. They say the number of centenarians went over 80,000 for the first time. The number shows that women are far more likely than men to live for a century or more, making up 88% of all the centenarians. So Japan's oldest person, 117-year-old Kane Tanaka, she's from Fukuoka. Sounds like a limerick. Was confirmed as the world's There once was a girl from Fukuoka. Her name was Kane Tanaka.
So
when she ate her sushi,
oh, geez, you're still trying to do it.
They said she was bougie.
I have a little theory on
she
why
only
there's
would
more
drink
women.
it with sake.
Why there's more women over 100 than men in Japan?
Why?
I don't know. World War II.
Yeah, that might be something to look at.
where literally the national motto was no surrender.
Yeah.
So they all chose death over surrender.
Yeah.
I mean, a bloodbath on all those islands in the Pacific Theater. So they have to factor that in, no?
Yeah, I don't think too many women were doing harikari when they were making tempura, vegetable tempura. While the men were flying.
We don't want to
into
shortchange. A lot of them, there is that story. There's some story on one of the islands. Anyway, very briefly, you know what? I'm not even going to tell it. But women did, not only when they saw it was over, because of no surrender, they threw their children off the cliff before they jumped off the cliff. And they had American Japanese translators on a megaphone begging them to not. We won't hurt you, we promise. But they had just been fed, just as much propaganda as we have. And they were told stories of what we do to them when we captured them.
Do you think if you had 3 kids and you had to throw them off a cliff, you would throw the shittiest kid first?
I don't know. I might leave the shittiest kid up there alone. I'd be like, Sophie, you're gone. Olivia, you're gone. Brad, good luck. And I jump. They're going to, from what I read, they're going to sodomize you for like 70 years while like pulling your teeth out slowly or something. Bye, Brad.
Brad, the Japanese kid. The other kids are like Hung Tai, Chow Fin, and Brad.
And of course, the joke's on me. He's like put in a camp and then he's out soon after. I mean, they surrendered.
Right. Yeah, but he's got to live with the fact that his mother and siblings jumped off a cliff.
Brad gets a job at Sony. The Walkman comes out 30 years later. Brad's fucking loaded. We're all dead.
He goes to that cliff once a year with a bottle of champagne. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Glad you hated me. Yeah, well, so yeah, Japanese people seem to live longer. Black don't crack and yellow don't die.
Oh, there it is. By the way, those people, man, if you're 100 years old in Japan, you've seen a lot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you were 25 when the atomic bombs were dropped on Japan. You weren't even a kid.
Yeah.
So you've lived through that. Never mind even like the recent radiation and all that stuff over there. But also, you were in your late 50s with Cheap Trick at Budokan.
Oh, surrender, surrender.
You were, you experienced that.
What was up with Budokan? And then that was like Cheap Trick's fucking high mark, their high water mark.
That was a breakthrough.
And then Bob Dylan puts out Live at Budokan, which was also like a really seminal album for him. Yeah. I think that was his first live shows after the motorcycle accident, wasn't it?
I should know that. I don't. Maybe I did at one time. I'm confused about, of course, we'll get letters, what Budokan is, because it's in Tokyo. Is it the theater?
I don't know.
Like, is it live at the Hollywood Bowl type thing?
I think so.
All right. But it's in Tokyo. I do know that.
Here's what you might not know. If you run a business, listen up, because it doesn't matter what kind of business it is, how big, how small, you use software, right? We use it. We record on one type of software. We send the files off to our producer with another kind. There's always glitches. There's always issues. You always need a better version of it. So you got to call TXMQ. They've been around for 40 years. If you think about that, The software technology, it didn't exist 40 years ago. There were giant rooms with fucking reel-to-reel computer.
Is this a history of technology?
Whether you're looking for a cool new application built on blockchain or you have some ancient software you can't find support for, go to txmq.com/SundayPapers. What are you waiting for? See, I can't. Sometimes they write the copy, and I try not to read it. But when they write things like, "What are you waiting for?" exclamation point.
Yeah.
I don't have to say that, do I?
Maybe say it the right way.
All right. Well, I believe in this company. I've gone back and forth with them. They're state of the art. I've been to their website. Everybody from startups to Fortune 500 companies, find out what you've been missing. Get in touch. Go to txmq.com/SundayPapers. Let them show you some love. They can build a custom solution for you, help you integrate your ancient separate systems today, even cybersecurity. And
Isn't this? Didn't we do this ad and didn't we experience success?
We did it last week, and I guess it went so well, and they were so happy they signed up for another week. The ads are going very. By the way,
Look at that.
let me finish the ad before I do an ad for our ads.
All right, can I take a nap? Go ahead.
IT staffing. These guys can build a custom solution for you. Whatever. Go to txmq.com/SundayPapers. Check it out today. No, the ads have been going great. As you see, we're getting more and more. People are finding great results with it, and we love that we're doing it all without an agent. We're just dealing with our listeners and fans at very good rates. So email us, fitzdogradio@gmail.com.
At this rate, the podcast won't cost us that much money. Look at that.
I know we should be charging more, but I don't want to. I want to keep it. I want to keep it
kind
fun.
of like it's very cool that it's organic in that way, that it is listener generated. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
And the reason I interrupted you during that ad is because before you told me that they contacted you and had success. So that's amazing.
Right. It's a good sign.
Did people
Let's
get
get to-
lobsters?
Oh yeah, you get your lobsters at Seaview Lobster Company. Entertainment.
Oh boy. What is this, Van Morrison?
Yeah.
All right. Let me find it. Hold on here. But by the way, it's a little tough. Van Morrison criticizes fascist bullies in anti-lockdown COVID songs. He's described the British government as fascist bullies disturbing our peace. That was a quote in one of the 3 new tracks he has written to protest against safety measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19. In one of his songs called No More Lockdown, he wasn't always that literal. It was like Madam George. This one's called No More Lockdown.
Yeah.
Morrison sings No More Lockdown, no more government overreach, no more fascist bullies disturbing our peace, no more taking our freedom and our God-given rights, pretending it's for our safety when it's really to enslave.
What happened to the rhyme scheme on that one?
I was waiting for a rhyme there.
That's when he started getting real angry.
And the article continued that No More Lockdown also indicts Imperial College scientists. There's a quote, Imperial College scientists making up crooked facts. And then the article just very soberly ended with, the virus is still considered highly infectious. Official figures confirmed this week in England a 75% increase in positive weekly cases. 75.
Yeah, look, believe me, nobody hates the English as much as I do, but it's fucking bad over there right now. And also, nobody loves Van Morrison more than me. He's my top 3 favorite artists. And it's always like the guy who has boozed his way through life and is old now and vaguely suicidal that wants to speak out for how we should handle health care.
Yeah. I know.
I want to get back to disturbing our peace. What peace, Van? What kind of peace are you having in your life when you want to fucking tour at 75 when you've got billions in the bank. There's clearly no peace going on, or you'd stay home and do a fucking crossword puzzle.
Well, before this, we talked about last night. I finally watched that Metallica documentary.
Oh, yeah.
And you see these guys go crazy if they live at home too long.
Yeah.
That's part of it. So I think...
Yeah. They need to tour.
I think Van Morrison needs not the money, but he needs to get out there. Meanwhile, he's like sort of a no-show at so many of his concerts, like figuratively speaking.
He's like Dylan. You're either going to get the best show you've ever seen or you're going to leave early.
Right. But I did find this, I don't know this person. I think she lives in Britain, Sarah O'Connell, Sarah O. Connell on Twitter. And she had said possible Van Morrison lyrics. Hey, where did masks go? Days when the plagues came. No social distancing, playing a daft game. Coughing and a wheezing, hey, spreading and infecting. Our hospital ventilator. With our hearts a stopping, and you, my 5G girl. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Shout out to her. Fantastic. Yeah. Speaking of the Metallica, so you're like Johnny documentary this week.
I am. I've seen a bunch. I actually watched the Lady Gaga one, 5'2" and something or other. I was I like Gaga a lot. I think she's pure raw talent, but oh, what a lunatic. I'll give her credit, man. I don't know if she had any say over the documentary. It's exposing. I'm trying to be accurate. I'd say she's crying a third of the time she's on camera.
Wow.
No, maybe a fifth, but 20% maybe.
Is it, you think she has a chemical imbalance?
She 100% has, I shouldn't say that. I think she 100% has a chemical imbalance. She does take a lot of drugs, but she's also physically, she smokes a lot of pot. She's physically in so much pain. And I think I did not go to medical school, which will be obvious from this statement. I honestly just think her mind and her body feels too much. You see it and you're like, she's a very special case who is all the feels, like she's just this conduit and it just comes out in her work. And the more you can remove her from reality, like just responsibilities, like even feeding herself and just take care of this vessel, I guess, that's putting out this work. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you turned me on to a documentary. And, we try to give you guys little homework assignments. Every week we tell you next week we're going to discuss something in the entertainment section in our reviews. So you can watch it and share. So last week you said we're going to watch Vows.
Yeah.
Or actually, yeah, Vows.
The Vow. The Vow.
Oh, The Vow. And holy shit, I think there's 4 episodes. I finished 3 last night in one night. I couldn't, and I started at like 11 o'clock and I couldn't go to sleep. I had to keep watching. It's like, once again, it's a cult that espouses things that I go, can I join the cult but not fuck the guy?
There was so much smart stuff. Obviously, and it's not new. He didn't invent it. It's self-help 101, a lot of it. But they break you down, like they kind of break you down and try to find out how you can be a better you. I get that sounds so cheesy, but that's what it is. And then also, they'll have sex with you and brand you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's all the classic cult moves. They don't let you sleep. Like they literally work you till 2 a.m. and then you're up at 5. So you can't think and you're making money for them. And there's a lot of confessing. They get you by saying, if you want to go to this next level, we need to hear something really juicy from you. Like, you killed a dog or, take some nude selfies and send them to us.
You think you might be gay. You broke this law once and they called it collateral.
Yeah, collateral.
And then their rationale was, all right, Greg, you really, really, really want to improve. I'm going to help you. And it's even things like you're going to do 100 burpees a day. you have to give me collateral because you will have more skin in the game now.
Right.
And I potentially, it's also trust. It's a test of trust. But potentially I could also use this if you don't do your 100 burpees.
Yeah.
It will never, ever be used if you keep this promise to yourself.
It's like a marriage. They know where the bodies are buried. And if you get divorced, ugly shit comes out. Not necessarily with poor people, but when you're rich, that shit comes out because those lawyers have their fucking fangs out and they go, what can we use against them?
Oh, even like Bezos, like, you know what his wife probably not like about it? No, he knowingly set up the factories in Malaysia because like, you know, like that, like,
Yeah.
and so during the settlements, like what, it's hush money. The settlement is hush money.
Right, right. That's why I don't tell my wife shit. I clear my browser. Every time I whack off, that history gets cleared. And I just realized, like, I'm so intent on clearing my browser that I don't remember any of my passwords. And so
Who does?
And so, but every time I clear my browser, it wipes out all of my autosave passwords, and then I have to fucking scramble when I want to sign back into YouTube or whatever. And but I'll still do it. So she doesn't know that I like Japanese hidden camera massage porn.
Oh boy. Meanwhile,
Lesbian
you talk
style.
about it on a flourishing podcast that
She's
has
never listened to the
sponsors.
podcast once in her life.
I know that's key. Same.
Yeah.
None of my family. But what was I just thinking? Private browser. It used to obviously be for porn. Now it's to hide from Google and Facebook and all the ads.
Right.
I'm on private browsing constantly, and it doesn't even like work that well.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what a great relationship Google has with Facebook. I thought they were enemies.
Yeah.
Because like I'll Google something, and that day on Instagram, there's ads for it, which is the other empire. Oh, yesterday, remember at the beach?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're at the beach, and I'm in my car, and Mike is standing there saying goodbye to him, and he's got music playing on his phone.
Well, we had speakers at the beach. I didn't turn them off. They're playing in my backpack on these like Bluetooth
through what,
speakers.
Spotify?
That's interesting. I don't know where we should know that because that'll play into it.
So anyway, I turn my phone on and I connect it with the Bluetooth to my car to listen to music. And when I hit Spotify, the first song it offers me is Wonderwall by Oasis, which we're fucking listening to on Mike's phone.
That was too much of and of course it's like, what the hell else are old white guys going to be playing? But I don't know. That's too specific.
Yeah. It was that or My Old School by Steely Dan. One of them was going to be up top.
Yeah. But anyway, private browsing. Use it.
So check out The Vow. And I haven't seen, I mean, episode 4 must be explosive because they don't even get into the sex until the very end of episode 3.
It gets pretty crazy. And then new episodes, I believe, come out Sundays.
Oh, it's not just 4. There's more.
Oh, yeah. No. The end of 4, I won't tell you what happens, starts a whole new trajectory.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right, good.
Well,
All
like
right.
like most documentary series, the end of the episode is the cliffhanger. So that's what's going on. But so hold it till Sunday and you can watch 2 of them.
We'll also give you guys your homework assignment for next week. It's called My Octopus Teacher. I believe it's on Netflix.
We were at the beach. We're just going to keep saying that all podcasts. Anyway, our good friend Michael heard us talking about documentaries, and I saw that, and it seems too weird, so I didn't watch it. So it comes highly recommended from him.
Okay, I'm looking up where you can watch it.
It's Netflix, 100%.
Yeah, it is Netflix. Okay. All right, let's do some sports.
You got it. The Browns. Okay, in this era of COVID and basically no one at the parks, where with basically no fans at parks, is there going to be a brawl in the stands? You guessed it. Yeah. Cleveland.
If it wasn't going to be the Raiders and it wasn't going to be the Steelers, it was going to be the Browns.
It reminds me, have you ever taken a deep dive on the 10-cent beer night?
No.
Oh, you have to. I mean, people have gone here before. They had a legendary 10-cent beer night. Hold on. It's worth it.
In
legendary,
Cleveland?
Huh?
In Cleveland?
In Cleveland. It was baseball. It was a Major League Baseball game in 1974 against the Texas Rangers. The idea behind the promotion was to attract more fans to the game by offering a 12-ounce beer for 10 cents each. But they had limits. Wrong? They had limits. You could only get 6 at a time, which was 60 cents. But then there were no limits on how many times you could go up. And keep in mind, this is 74. This is we stop at the 7th inning.
Yeah.
It culminated in a riot, and the game had to be forfeited due to the crowd's uncontrollable rowdiness and all of the injuries. Not only injuries to players, to coaches and players also.
You mean fans were going on the field?
And fighting.
No shit.
Yes. It was hysterical.
Wow.
As the Indian players and coaches were returning to the dugout, they were struck by food and beer hurled by Ranger fans, and one of them had to be one of the players had to be restrained and going in the stands. I got to find some of these details. Just here's lines. I'm just scanning lines, realizing that the Rangers' lives might be in danger. I don't even need the details.
I think that should be true for every fucking sporting event. You know, why not let it be like ancient Rome? You're not just playing for a win; you're playing for your life out there.
It's unbelievable.
Of course, this fight happened because it was against the Browns. It was against the Cincinnati Bengals. So Cincinnati and Cleveland, what are they? A couple hours apart?
I wonder if that's like the Mason-Dixon line or like
it must be a big rivalry. And but
I wonder
wait
if
a minute,
brothers are on different sides.
I think they should take all of the fans from both teams that fought and put them all in quarantine in one giant hotel. Just let the brawl continue.
In a cage.
By the way, these are the 2 worst teams in the NFL, except, of course, your New York Jets in the NFL power rankings are ranked number 32 or 3, however many teams there are in the league. And just above them are the Browns and the Bengals.
Are Jets literally last?
Last place.
That's perfect. A New York team with all the money.
And by the way, the Bengals fans won, which I think should negate the fact that you and I have a standing bet every Sunday, or in this case, it was Thursday night, of the whether or not the Bengals win. I'm excited about them because they've got this guy Burrow, who's a Heisman Trophy winner, who's the new quarterback. I thought he could make them a good team. They're clearly going to lose every single game. We have $50 on every single game. I don't know what fucking drug I was smoking when I made this bet.
Okay, hold on. The bet we have is every week we are going to bet on the Tampa Bay game with the spread.
Oh, it's Tampa Bay. Oh, I thought I bet on the on the Bengals. Okay, good. I'll stick with that.
You are betting for your wet dream idol, Tom Brady. I'm betting against him.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Never mind.
All right, wait. If I can, just a couple more details just from this riot in 74 in Cleveland. So it's very interesting. There's a great backstory, which I won't give, but Billy Martin, who we know very well, legendary alcoholic, kind of boozer brawler from the Yankees. He was the coach of Texas. So he thought the fans ran out on the field. He thought they attacked one of the Texas Rangers outfielders. So he ran onto the field with his players and they took bats. Big mistake, because then the fans charged them with knives, chains, and clubs. Fashioned from portions of the stadium seats that they had already torn apart. And they surged the field and hurled bottles from the stands also. Both baseball teams had to run into their locker rooms and lock the doors.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah,
There's got to be a
incredible.
documentary about that.
After the game was forfeited and officially canceled, the rioting continued for 20 minutes, and the two announcers called the riot live on radio.
He hit him with a chair.
Yep, it went on till the Cleveland Police Department had to raid the stadium.
I wonder if they got bats. They must have gotten their hands on some bats.
Oh, I'm sure. I wonder how much of it's on YouTube.
I wonder why hasn't Drew Carey made a documentary about it?
Maybe he has. A lot of people know about it, and in the comedy community, I've talked about it also. I think my buddy, Gareth Reynolds?
Who's that?
He's stand-up. He's great. I wrote with him on Hoops, and he and Dave Anthony have a podcast called The Dollop. I have not listened to that one. I think it might be too old. I can't find it. But anyway, I think they did one. They talked about that for a dedicated hour. But I just want to give a shout out to those guys. But anyway, it's a famous Cleveland sports story.
Oh, I can't wait to YouTube this shit later.
Here they are again.
So this week we got Carolina at Tampa Bay. Carolina favored by 8.5 points. So we'll see. I'm not a favorite this week.
Last week, no, but you are taking Tom Brady and 8.5 points. But by the way, just to keep it fair, in case there are injuries or whatever the spread is at game time, that's what we'll go with.
Oh, you're giving me points.
You get 8.5 points. Carolina's favorite.
I love it. I'm going to be fucking rich.
Carolina lost. I'm not a football guy, but I can read. Carolina lost at home against the Raiders 34-30 last week. So You're getting 8.5 points, and you have Tampa Bay.
Yeah, when Brady gels with this offense, they're going to be lethal. It's going to be unbelievable.
Maybe I have it wrong. Maybe Tampa's favored. Whatever the spread is, we do it at game time.
Okay, good. All right, let's get to some science.
Uh-oh. What do we got?
We got some corona on planes.
What's that about?
New published article about how it can spread on airline flights.
Oh,
and
what a
suggesting
shocker.
that spacing people out a little will not fully protect them. You know, like how they had a smoking section on airplanes back in the 70s? A team from Vietnam tracked down a cluster of cases linked to a flight that arrived in Hanoi on March 2nd. Apparently, fucking ton of people got it from this one flight. They say it's from aerosol or droplet transmission, and it happens just as much for the people seated in business class. That kind of sucks. I mean, you'd think that with that extra 4 inches of space, you'd be safe. Being rich is basically, I was thinking about this, it's really just about buying extra space away from people. You get a bigger house. You have a smaller family, so there's less people around. You get a bigger car. Everything is more space. Just room. That's what you work really hard in life. You hustle. You try to make good decisions so you have enough money to stay the fuck away from people.
Yeah, you do get more remote. That's for sure. Hedges, walls, gates.
Right?
Yeah. But But who thought first class or business class, like it wouldn't spread to the rest of the plane also? Like, listen, I could be 25 rows deep in coach. I know the second those hot cookies are served in first class.
Yeah, right.
The second they come out, I smell them.
Right.
And I can tell you right now, the virus is spreading easier than the smell of those cookies.
Yeah, right. It's like, I smell cookies and bats. Anybody else smell bats?
Yeah. So I don't know what they're thinking. And I don't think that little curtain they put up trying to prevent me from taking a dump in first class, that's not going to stop the virus.
Right. I love the curtain. It's such a fuck you. It should just say fuck you on it.
Yeah.
And it really kind of represents like why there aren't more French revolutions. It's very rare that people really rise up. I mean, they do, but you look at this class distinction that they're making between first class and coach, and the only thing stopping you from going up there is a little fucking flimsy curtain. But the mentality of poor people is just, I can't go past that little piece of nylon.
Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, it's going to have to go a little further. But listen, it's a lot of theorists are saying this is the beginning, like when the haves, when it gets too concentrated, it's intolerable.
Yeah.
And by the way, the curtain in society might be that thin blue line, might be that blue line of police or whatever. But all it takes is for not many people to look at each other like, let's just go to the rich neighborhood and take their homes. It's the same thing as the curtain. I mean, there's so few police, like it's, and even the military, but if everyone decided to do it, that's how revolutions happen. All of a sudden they actually feel their strength in numbers, and they're right.
Yeah, there's really there's a tipping point when you look at, I saw this statistic about there's so many statistics about the top 1% right now and how they own 40% of all the money in the country or something. And it gets to a tipping, is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
No, I think that's exactly what it is.
Oh. You want me to want to Google? Should we bet on it?
All right, I'll bet you.
Now, we're talking about the top 1%, not the top 1% of the 1%, because the top 1% of the 1% own like 20% of the country.
Really?
Oh, it's something bananas.
All right, top 1%.
Here we go, live.
Has what percent of money? Disparity says
I thought it was above.
It's 20 times the average income.
This is fascinating podcasting.
I
like it.
We'll edit this part out.
No, keep it. While you're doing that, I could do a business story.
Okay.
While you're doing that.
Here we go. Right here. The wealthiest 1% of Americans possess 40% of the nation's wealth. The bottom 80% own 7%.
Huh. All right, whatever. I don't know. I've heard differently.
Well, but you just heard it from me.
Also, the last 6 months have changed that statistic dramatically.
Yeah.
Have you seen how rich the billionaires have gotten?
Oh, no. And in the next 2 years, you're going to see that continue. Because poor people are going to lose their houses, and they already say that Wall Street is fucking salivating. They're setting up these giant REIT funds to scoop up houses as soon as they start foreclosing.
Yep. It's a systematic thing. Like computer programs are running it. They see the sale, and then corporations are buying up homes.
Right. I'm going to pick up a power drill. Prices are going to go down. I'm getting a fucking power drill at Home Depot. Maybe a hammer.
To defend yourself?
No.
Against bankers?
Corona on planes. We did that. Now the other story is, you want to read this about Venus?
Do you want to skip Venus?
Okay.
Because what time is it? Yeah, skip Venus.
Let's get to some business.
So speaking of this issue, as an example, I just love this headline. I don't really have jokes on it, but it's the housing market in LA. Jeffrey Katzenberg's sold his home in LA for $125 million. And it is the most expensive home sale in LA. Wait for it. In August. That is what it says. Not ever. In August.
All right.
That's how crazy the disparity is of what we were just talking about.
I know. I was trying to crunch the numbers. If the average house, I got to guess the average house around the country is $120,000. So this would be, I think, is that 100 times? 100. So you could buy 100 of those houses.
No.
Is it 1,000 of those houses?
No, it's way higher. Well, all right, should we try to do the math real quick? So basically you need 10 of them to get to $1 million. And so it's 10 times 125.
125 million divided by 120,000.
This is the best podcast to listen to.
It's 1,000. It's 1,000. You could buy 1,000 houses for this one house. So, like, there's towns in the Midwest that have 1,000 houses that are worth 120. You could literally go, all right, I'm selling my house and I'm going to move to Evansville and I'm going to fucking just sleep in a different house every night.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk around town with a scepter and I'm going to have a crown and I'm going to be the king of Evanston.
He could buy a killer block in LA and have the entire block.
Yeah.
And put up whatever he wants. I mean, that's kind of what he did on this lot.
It's just amazing. First of all, that he's selling it. Like, when do billionaires just go like, all right, I worked hard, I got lucky, I'm fucking set. Do you know the hassle of selling your house, packing, moving, finding a new one? Like, is there a better 125? Does he need a $130 million house? It's like when you saw Brad Pitt with Jennifer Aniston, and then he goes, nah, I'm breaking up with her. I can do better. I need Angelina.
Yeah. I don't think Katzenberg is packing up his forks and knives.
Right.
I think that might be under control.
Yeah.
You know, I met with him once, one-on-one, actually. Had a meeting.
You did?
Yeah. I had a meeting. It was very interesting. In his office. And so his office was a round coffee table, no desk, at least where I met him, and then low chairs around it. So it was very, and I think this is incredibly intentional. I think he had learned this. There was some Asian influence, I believe. So maybe he had on his trips over there, and all of them, you know, it was a very popular thing, especially in the 80s, to study Japanese executives, like, and learn from them, like, you know, Michael Ovitz, who started CAA, like he that was a huge influence there, where their leaders did the least talking, you know what I mean, the most listening. There was this whole culture. Anyway, what I will say is you really put your guard down, and it was effective. Like, I was just shooting the shit with this guy because I'm casually sitting in this very comfortable chair with my arm up, my feet are on this, you know, against, because he did too, against this round kind of coffee table that had a place like to put. So it's very effective. Like, it disarms you, basically.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think it probably helps his meetings, where if I'm in a chair sitting across from a giant desk where Katzenberg is sitting, I think I'd be very tight.
Yes, it's a power move. And did he have the thing where he locked the door behind you when you came in?
No, he raped me with the door open.
That's how powerful he is. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't only my guard that was down. It was my pants were down. Actually, I floated the idea, so maybe I shouldn't.
That kind of money's an aphrodisiac. Hell yeah, you offered. All right, let's get to your favorite part of the show. It's Ask Amy.
We're already at Ask Amy?
Oh, wait, no, let's do listener mail first, and then we're going to do Ask Amy.
All right.
I have a reason for that. First letter, we got one. I seem to have a crush on you two from Joanne.
Who?
I hope Joanne sees the YouTube feed of this show, because I don't know that. Do you think she's watching us and having the crush or listening to us?
I don't know. I thought about Joanne because the Gaga documentary shows her writing her soon-to-be famous song, Joanne.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right. This one came from somebody who wanted to talk about, that TV show that I'm watching, Goliath, that you saw, is set in Shay J, which is in Santa Monica. It's a famous old historical dive restaurant. And he said that they tried to stay completely true to it. They even have a photo of an elephant at the bar. The history behind it tells a time when a movie company was filming nearby and one of the starring elephants was hot and thirsty. The wranglers brought him inside to drink some beer. When the elephant was through, he banged on the bar to signal for more. The bar still moves to this day.
Maybe that explains all the peanut shells on the floor.
Aha, that's right. This is from Dave in Manchester, UK. Please don't stop the Sunday podcast, the Thursday paper podcast. You guys, in particular, Mike, constantly worry about keeping the time short, keeping it professional. Fuck that. Just shoot the shit. Most of us listeners are here because the best Fist Dog episodes were when you were both on it. If I'm outvoted, then I agree with Greg. Make the Sunday papers longer, or at least don't time it or worry about it being too long. Take care, Dave. P.S. So funny how Mike was only trying to help Judd Apatow with a possible broken movie link, only to be shot down as a fucking wrinkly old bitch that can't use a computer.
Thank you. What's this guy's name? Dave?
Dave from he's got a little Manchester to him.
I love that. Yes, no shit. I was giving him a layup to promote it. By the way, I did run into trouble trying to rent it. It said, I think there was a short period. Anyway, it was a fucking layup for him, Apatow.
Yeah, something else. About continuing Thursday papers, in all honesty, it's fine either way. Love Sunday papers, though. Thanks for being responsive on Twitter. That would obviously be me, since Gibbs never fucking replies. I guess Gibbons isn't that into Twitter.
I'm not. But should I be? I'll change. Whatever.
This is from Rob. What?
Who's asking that?
That was Dave. It was a PS.
Oh, on Twitter?
I don't know. Actually, that was a new one. I don't know who wrote that one. I forgot to write down their name.
All right, I'll DM them.
Greg, so stoked you and Mike dig the tune. Oh, this is Rob Dukes who wrote the tune for last week. Don't stop doing Thursday, please. I look forward to it. You guys rule. I got all my bandmates listening to it now. Keep going. Fuck Dagwood. Charles Gravel says, hi, Greg. Love all your podcasts. Really hope you can continue with Thursday papers. Super entertaining and fun. Would really miss it. That's from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. So the people have spoken.
I'm a quarter Canadian, Cape Breton. We love Canada.
We love Canada.
I'm going to try to move there.
Oh my God, Canada's fucking great. It really is, and it's got so many different personalities to it. I love Quebec. Montreal and Toronto are so international feeling. Chicks are hot, and I studied French for 6 years, so I have about a 1 year level understanding of it at this age. But it's enough where you can actually get by. You
still pronounce it Quebec?
Quebec?
Quebec.
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be wrong.
How do you say Nicaragua?
Nicaragua.
Ah, you got it. Let's do an Ask Amy.
You got it. Dear Amy, I am a fan of a podcast that records on Sundays and Thursdays. Love it. Can't get enough. However, now they are considering dropping the Thursday podcast, and I am losing my shit. I need that podcast. I know it's extra work for them, but how can I make them reconsider? I'd be more than willing to pay if there was a firewall or whatever that shit is called. Do you think if they did a Patreon, enough listeners like me would cough up a nominal fee? Signed, freaking out in Sacramento. P.S. My house just burned down.
That's the PS? That's afterwards? That's
Well,
less
it was
important?
Seems like they should have written their letter about that.
That's like burying the lead, as they say in the newspaper industry.
I agree. I mean,
Wow.
they don't work at the Sacramento Bee.
Well, I guess if she's homeless, we need to do something about this. If people don't know, by the way, they probably don't because we announced it on Thursday. The Thursday paper, it's been tough. Mike and I have a couple projects going on the side. I've got two other podcasts. And the Thursday papers was starting to feel like we weren't doing a good job because we didn't have the time to really put effort into it. But we love it when we do it because it is looser. It's not as like based on stories. We deal with more like mail. We do a crossword puzzle. Anyway, so we're not going to do it for the next 2 weeks because we're both in a crunch. But we're considering coming back. And perhaps with a Patreon. What do you guys think? Let us know. Would you do a Patreon? If so, we might find it in us to do a Thursday paper again.
Well, here's the other logic is, I mean, we are doing ads here now, which
Helps.
is, hopefully we can make them cool and all that and not a big hindrance. But supporting us over there keeps Sunday papers free also. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, how many people listening now listen to Thursdays? What happens also, one of the things we talked about last Thursday is because we're ADD and all over the place and not that organized, we mix up a lot of Sunday and Thursday. So I followed up the Sturgis story from Sunday on Thursday. And then I didn't revisit it again on the next Sunday, really. And then we'll do letters. We'll answer letters on Thursday that are written about Sunday.
Right.
So it gets a little unwieldy. You can feel free to write us. And what do you think about that? I'm new to podcasting, so I don't know what I'm talking about. How much would a Thursday papers be?
A lot of people do like $5 a month, but if it's Patreon, I think you can do different levels. We could fuck with that. We could figure something out. Maybe a few bucks a month, something like that.
Yeah, maybe $1, like $1 a week seems
reasonable.
That's like drinking less than a cup of coffee a week from Starbucks.
That's like buying 10 beers at the 1974 Indians game.
And how many months of podcast for $1 a week could Katzenberg buy with the sale of his home, Greg?
It's time for a very sad moment. Obituaries.
Oh, God.
And that's all, folks.
God.
Obviously, this week's is RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Supreme Court Justice, who died of cancer. And it's devastating because, she represented so much for women. She was somebody who, was one of the first at Harvard Law School and then Columbia, and she faced a lot of closed doors when she was trying to work her way up as a lawyer. Law firms simply weren't hiring women, and then having a child made it next to impossible. So she ended up as a professor. People know her life story, and she has become a dissenting voice a lot in the Supreme Court over the last few years. That's very necessary. And now there's a big question about whether or not they will try to appoint a replacement either before the election or even before January. When does the Senate take office? If somebody's voted out of the Senate, is it immediate or is it like January? What did the president do? Like the first week of January, he gets installed?
Yes, but I don't know what it is about Senate. But sadly, this is what I think also. She'd be the last person to care. To her, she knows the biggest issue is her replacement. She commented on it, I think, on the last day or in the last days of her life, that they shouldn't, replace her until the new year.
Yeah.
So sadly, though, it's hard to stay focused on celebrating her life because there's this gigantic issue that's created with her absence.
Yeah, and I hope I didn't sell her short in paying tribute. She was an amazing woman, and there's a great documentary. I think it's called The Notorious RBG. And
yes.
It's very
RBG,
moving. It's
yeah.
very inspirational. If you have a daughter, it's a must watch.
Yeah.
And then they did a
if you
film.
have a son, it's a must watch.
Right. And then they did a movie about her as well. Like a, full, what do you call it? Narrative. So,
a huge focus right now is on, in Obama's last year, the election year, Scalia died in February. And Mitch McConnell just clamped down and said it wouldn't be right to focus on this in an election year.
Yeah.
And he refused, and Obama nominated a justice, and Mitch McConnell, controlling the Senate, refused to acknowledge it, and they never voted on it from February for a year till Trump was in office.
Yeah.
He refused to have the Senate vote on it. And what's he doing today? In fact, on the day she died yesterday, he said, we are immediately going to replace her.
Yeah. No, it's politics is just so fucking ugly, and it's so hypocritical, and it's moments like this that you really see through decency, that there is no decency, there is no fair play, and let's just hope it doesn't become a real issue. I mean, I think they need 4 or 5 Republicans to cross over. They think they've already got 3 that look very likely. So someone's got to be a hero. Someone's got to show decency.
So many of
here.
them will have to eat their words. Really. Like, they were so articulate about not doing it, not having that politicizing this nominee in that process by having an election year. Like, they really were incredibly articulate about why they would not look at a single nominee from Obama for a year. Right. So they'd have to eat it. David Axelrod, who's awesome, and he was in the Obama White House, he brought up an interesting fact. If Trump and the Senate put in a replacement now, the Supreme Court of the United States will have a majority of justices appointed by presidents who finished second in the popular vote, confirmed by Senate majorities who represented less than half of the country. It's the tyranny of the minority.
Yeah, and it's also, there's some big stuff going in front of the court right now. Obamacare could be repealed if they put in another justice right now and they make the vote. The last time it lost 5-4, overturning it. So this would swing it the other way. And I just really feel strongly that repealing Obamacare with no other plan in place, no other plan that's been mentioned or proposed or debated or worked on, is just fucking suicide for so many people. It would destroy so many lives. It's irresponsible. And anyway, all right, enough politics. Let's get to the thing that people come for, stay for. It's the Sunday Funnies. Oh, yeah. Let's start off with our old friend Andy. You know Andy Cap. British dude, beats his wife, drinks a lot, gambles. Everybody's hero.
Let's see it.
Flo is standing at the bar. Once in a while, she likes to wet her whistle. She goes to the same bar as him. It feels like that's sort of part of London where there's the pub that you go to.
I think Ginsburg, paved the way for that. Like, ladies can go right up to the abusive bar also.
That's right. So Andy walks in. Flo's standing at the bar. He says, there's a new sports bar that opened up in town. It has 12 pool tables, 14 dart boards, and 15 giant screen TVs. He takes a beat. In case I never see you again, have a nice life.
That's great.
That's fucking harsh. In case I never see you again, have a nice life. I just chose a fucking bar over you. And she just looks at him like, Andy, again.
Oh, the cartoon's so small here. I thought she was in the bar.
She's in the bar. Yeah, but no, he's talking about a different bar. There's a new one that opened up that he's going to go to.
I don't think she's in the bar now that I'm looking at it. Look,
where is she?
She's doing the dishes.
Oh, she's doing the dishes.
He went in to tell her at home.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hager the Horrible.
No effect.
Hager and his gang are walking out of a fucking strip club called La Cabaret. There's a doorman with a handful of cash, and there's a few women at the door that are kind of waving goodbye. They look happy. They look like they've been given a lot of money for lap dances. Hager says, I think you overtipped. And the nerdy guy goes, someone needs to help them afford more clothing. Pussy.
This is a unusual one.
Is
this the first time they haven't abducted women?
That's true. They're paying them for sexual services?
And then thinking about clothing them?
Yeah, let's get one thing straight. When you pillage and rape, you don't go to La Cabaret Francais here and then get a lap dance for cash. Those women would not be smiling right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Family Circus, Mike, your favorite.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Here's a prime. Okay. It's the father and son. They're out in a grassy field at night. You see the starry sky. The father's holding the son. The son is pointing to the sky and, quote, which one is the little star that twinkles? Question mark, end quote.
Come on, that's cute, Mike.
I mean, what about like, how come I never see the cow jumping over the moon? Like, if you're going to just put out bullshit,
yeah,
there's other little fucking kid stories you can reference and maybe put a little something on it.
Not only that, look at the drawings that he does. The father has on tan slacks, tan shirt, tan jacket, tan hair, tan belts. Not even an effort to fucking reach for another color in his palette.
It's like he's on safari. Maybe he took his kid out there to just leave him and feed him to the lions. You keep thinking about that twinkly star kid.
Yeah.
You keep looking for it out here.
He's got black smears under his eyes, a little green on his cheeks.
It's just disgusting, the money grab that goes on with this thing.
Now, I am convinced that there is a long-term contract that Jeff Keane is trying to break, and he can't get, they won't let him quit, so he's trying to get fired.
Daddy, we have to get up on the star to make a wish. I don't know. There's you're gonna. He probably did write 10 of them.
Yeah,
and he'll put out one a year, maybe to this same drawing.
Yeah,
because it's that easy.
Yep. These are
some.
We got some notes about Blondie. I always like to hear information about Blondie. Hey, hello, Greg and Mike. Thanks for the shout out to the late, great Frank Cummings of Blondie comic strip fame. He died 2014 of cancer at the age of 54.
Aw.
I grew up with Frank in Lexington, Kentucky. He was one of the best caricature artists ever. Frank was a naturally gifted artist, musician, all-around funny guy. In high school, he was tapped to illustrate the annual school yearbook. Being a prankster, he submitted subliminal profanities into the caricature drawings of some of the students and teachers featured in the yearbook. His hijinks went unnoticed until the yearbook was printed. Score. God, I love this guy. Frank Cummings. Yeah. So anyway, he tracks his whole career. He actually worked for comedian Jeff Dunham for a while. Maybe he created some of the racist puppets. He created a magazine that was very big. And then in the 2000s, he was hired by King Features Syndicate to be the artist for the Blondie comic strip. He drew it for over a decade. And so thank you for... It seems weird that a man is actually turning me on. I'm feeling mixed feelings right now that came out of his brain.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Not really. I'm proud to say.
Well, like a woman that I see walking down the street, she's all woman. She came out of the womb a woman, and I'm turned on, and I feel good. Blondie has been created by the hand of a man.
It's like he could have disguised himself knowing what would get you.
Right.
Yeah, I got it. By the way, slipping that in, my school has like a annual magazine or whatever it is, and they do class notes. And so a while ago, when I remember I was working with David Spade because anyway, I'll explain it in a second. So class notes. So I decided they then contacted me directly, and they're like, "Tell us like what you're up to out in Hollywood. We've never heard from you, in Los Angeles. So whatever." So I submitted, and I said that I was busy and I was whatever, and then I also said I had launched a website called meatspin.com.
No, you didn't.
So yes, I did. So, and I said it was like some culinary, maybe. I don't know what I said. And as I was sure they would do, they wouldn't check it, and they just put it in there. And I remember I was at Spade because Meatspin was very big at that time as the joke website. Like when writers would leave the room, whatever, you'd change their homepage on their computer to meatspin.com. Meatspin.com is an incredibly graphic joke.
Let people find it. Don't tell people what it is.
I won't tell. It's a joke site, though. And it's pretty shocking what is immediately on there. So I thought it was really funny. Then the magazine comes out, and it's like class notes. Here in the, from that year, here's Gibbons. He's out in Los Angeles. He's writing for Dave, and he's launched this website. And then there it is. And
shit.
And I die laughing. And then of course Pete and Dudley and people noticed it, and they didn't even have to go to it. People knew there was this joke website that you'd fight like Lemon Party.
Yeah.
And so mission accomplished. What I didn't anticipate was class of 58 dude emailing me saying this was the most inappropriate thing. I was with my wife and I went to see a fellow alumnus's website that he created. Dude, there were so many old people, and some of them, to their point, were like class of like 62. Got me.
Wait, how did they contact you?
Because my email, I think, was in there. Like, if you want to contact Mike,
that's so great.
It's in the registry and everything. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my God. I had no idea. Also, technically, 18-year-olds could be reading that also.
Yep.
I mean, get it mailed to them if they're their first year of alumni status. Anyway, all right.
All right, it's time for my little honey. It's Blondie. 3 frames. First one. Blondie and Dagwood are sitting at a table playing a board game. He says, "Your move, honey. Make it count." She says, "This is a silly game if you ask me." He says, wow, honey, that was the dumbest move anyone's ever made in this game. And she goes, the what? And he goes, ha ha, in the commercial for the game, teasing is part of the game. And she leans in, and she's got on these gold, shimmer the pants with a black velvet top that it moves around her breasts almost like water. You can almost see movement because it's so tight. And it's a slightly plunging neckline. And she looks him in the eye and she goes, I don't think it's funny to be called dumb.
That's the end of it.
And there's not another frame because it is a turning point in Blondie.
Oh.
She's been willing to play this fucking role as the dumb blonde because that's what you did in society. But then this fucking guy, after all these years, she's had it. She's seen some of the women's rights movement stuff, and she's like, nope, things are about to change around here. This isn't even a funny one. I just wanted to read this week's.
She could just lay those right on the table, though. You see that last frame?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're practically touching the table.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, we are at 1 hour and 40 minutes and 13 seconds. We've done it. How weird is that? Did you look at the clock while we were doing this?
No, but I killed that Russian story just by instinct. I don't know.
Right.
It was just a feel. I didn't look at the clock, though.
1 hour 40 is the sweet spot. All right, listen, folks, thanks for tuning in. We want to thank Chris Denman for producing along with Beth Hoops over at Midcoast Media. Always do a fantastic job. And we want to continue getting artwork from you guys for the logos as well as Sunday Papers songs. Thursday Papers off for the next couple weeks, but then we'll be back. Don't forget, Fitzdog Radio on Tuesdays, Childish on Wednesdays. Mike, anything you want to plug?
I guess the Octopus documentary. The Octopus, My Teacher. Why not?
Watch it this week. We'll talk about it next week. And that'll do it. Take it, fold it up, put a fish in it, stick it outside.
Stuff a doll you've made during quarantine with newspaper? Is that a thing?
Go up in the attic, find a cracked window, tape it on top. It's the Sunday Papers.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
It's Sunday papers. Greg and Mike, it's Sunday papers. Greg and Mike, it's Sunday papers. Greg and Mike, do 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 do. Greg and Mike, it's Sunday papers.